If you're in SaaS, you know the feeling. You're basically drowning in data, but how much of it is actually useful? In this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise to find the metrics that really drive growth.
Okay, take a quick look at these two dashboards. One of them is designed to make you feel good about how your business is doing. The other one? It's designed to tell you exactly what to do next. Do you know which is which? Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll know for sure. You know, so many companies fall into what I call the vanity metric trap. We get obsessed with numbers that look awesome in a board meeting, but they don't actually help us make smarter decisions. They're just feel-good stats, not real growth drivers.
I love this quote from Tim Ferriss. He just nails it. Good for feeling awesome, bad for action. That's a vanity metric in a nutshell. It's the kind of thing you'd brag about at a conference, but it's totally useless when you're actually trying to fix a real problem.
So how do you spot one of these things in the wild? Well, here's a quick checklist. Ask yourself, does this number pretty much only go up? Like, say, total signups ever. Is anyone actually responsible for it? Does it tell you the whole story? And maybe most importantly, is it even relevant to what you're focused on right now?
So, what's the antidote to all this vanity? It's learning to separate the noise from the signal. We've got to shift our focus from those vanity metrics to actionable metrics. You know, the numbers that actually give us a clear direction and tell us what to do.
Okay, so what makes a metric actionable? Well, for starters, they're usually ratios or percentages, like a conversion rate. They're also a direct result of something your team did, so you can point to someone and say, you own this. They're super clear, hard to misinterpret, and, you guessed it, they line up perfectly with your current business goals.
This slide just lays it all out, right? Vanity metrics, they're all about ego. Actionable metrics, they're about making real progress. It's really that simple.
All right, enough with the theory. How do we actually find these magical, actionable metrics? What we need is a map, a compass for our growth. And that brings us to this incredibly simple but powerful framework called AARRR. And here it is. This is the ARRR funnel, famously known as pirate metrics. And yes, you absolutely should say it like a pirate. R! This is our map for the entire customer journey, from start to finish. First up, we've got A for acquisition. This is the very top of your funnel. It's all about that first contact. How do people find you in the first place? Is it your blog, ads, social media? This stage is all about grabbing their attention and turning them into leads.
Next is activation. Now this one is arguably the most critical step of them all. Someone's signed up, great, but have they had that aha moment yet? Activation is all about measuring whether a new user has actually experienced the core promise of your product for the very first time. Then we get to revenue. This one's pretty straightforward, right? This is when a user becomes a paying customer. We're tracking the moment they pull out their credit card, decide to upgrade their plan, or expand their account with you. But once you've got a customer, the game totally changes. Now it's all about retention. Are they coming back? Are they using your product over and over again? This is the real test of whether you've built something valuable, and it's the absolute key to sustainable growth. And finally, the last R is for referral. This is the holy grail, people. This is when your product is so good, so valuable that your customers turn into your biggest fans. They start telling their friends, their colleagues, creating this amazing organic growth loop for you. Okay, so now we get the AARR framework. Let's make this super practical. We're going to go through each of those 5 stages and define the specific actionable metrics you can start tracking today. Let's start with acquisition. Sure, a free trial is a great main metric, but what leads to that? Things like visits to your pricing page, downloading a resource, or subscribing to your blog. These are the smaller, actionable metrics that show someone's interested and help you figure out how to get more of them to convert.
Activation, remember, is all about that aha moment. So for a tool that makes heat maps, that moment isn't just creating an account. No way. It's installing the code, testing it out, and then actually creating that first heat map. Every single one of those steps is a chance to measure where people get stuck and how you can improve. When we talk about revenue, let's think beyond just that first purchase. We want to look for actions that show a deeper commitment. Are people upgrading their plans? Are the bigger accounts increasing their usage? Is an agency adding a new client to their dashboard? These are all fantastic actionable revenue metrics. Retention is all about digging into how people engage with your most important features. It's not just about logging in. That's a vanity metric. It's about a user repeatedly doing the things that provide real value. So in our heat map example, that means they're viewing different kinds of maps, adding notes, and sharing what they find. And referral? It isn't just some fuzzy word-of-mouth concept. You can actually measure it. You can track when a user sends an invitation, when that invitation gets accepted, or when they add a new team member. These are all crystal clear signals that they're advocating for your product.
So here's the crucial takeaway. Defining all these metrics isn't just some boring analytical exercise you do in a spreadsheet. The real magic happens when you use this framework to get your entire team on the same page, all working towards the same goals.
And here's why that matters so much. A study by Forrester found that only 8%, just 8% of companies have truly aligned sales and marketing teams. That is a massive disconnect. Having a shared framework with clear, actionable metrics, that's the bridge that closes that huge gap.
And the final, critical step is to assign ownership. You have to make it real. For every primary metric in your funnel, assign one person who is responsible for that number. It doesn't matter if it's Michael Jordan on acquisition or Larry Bird on activation. That kind of clarity creates real accountability and empowers your team to actually go out and drive results.
Look, your data is always telling a story. By using a framework like ARRR, you can finally start listening to the right one, the one that tells you exactly what to do next to grow your business. So let me ask you, what story is your data telling you?